What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to do a midweek Scarlet and Violet update look at Paldea Evolved. Obviously, this is at the forefront of the move that's going on. Investors really aren't taking their foot off the pedal. When I did the Scarlet and Violet booster box update on Monday, this box was $400.50 or something like that, approximately $400. It's now $413.60 on TCG Player. And the most recent sales over the past 48 hours, most of them are around $445, $450. So after tax and shipping, people are paying probably, pretty close to $500 for this booster box at this point, which is putting it basically on the same level as Silver Tempest, which is a Sword and Shield era set. And I know that Silver Tempest and Paldea Evolved actually weren't released that far apart. Silver Tempest came out in November 2022. Paldea Evolved came out in June 2023. But the fact they're the same price, I mean, yeah, kind of a little bit questionable in my opinion. Maybe it just comes down to Silver Tempest getting that very large reprint at the end of its life cycle. And then also Paldea Evolved, the Magikarp, which we'll talk about here in a second, is popping off again. And then also, I mean, when you look at the top 10 values, they are fairly similar. I think Silver Tempest, you're like $50, $60 higher still. Maybe when you look at like top 20 cards, that's where Paldea Evolved shines. There is a lot of depth in this set, and that was kind of originally the thing that intrigued me a lot about Paldea when this box was $85, $90, is that I kind of put it on par with Brilliant Stars, but it is starting to catch up to some of these Sword and Shield sets, so do with that info what you will. But we might be at a point now, honestly, like every day, every week, my opinion is changing, but we might be at a point now where we have a $500 Scarlet and Violet Air Booster box by the end of 2025. It might happen. I mean, it's not that far off. We'd only need to see another like 10% gain on Paldea Evolved. Again, this is going out of print, or out of rotation rather, next year, so it's entirely possible. Now, we're also going to talk about some special illustration cards, and there might be one illustration rare on the list, and then we're going to talk about PC promos. But the Pikachu, I'm sure some of you guys have paid attention to this card from 151. It's up about 72, 73% over the past 3 months, and really over the past month, it's made a very large move from around 28-ish dollars. We're now sitting around 45, and most recent sale is actually $57 in a near mint copy from today. Before that though, we had a near mint sale around 45, another one around 44. So I think realistically, this card is closer to that 45-ish range, but still rebounding nicely. We also have the Ghastly illustration rare from Temporal Forces. I thought out the gate this was going to be like a $20 card. It's so funny looking back at some of my old videos. I was doing it last night. When I talked about Temporal Forces, I said, yeah, maybe this Ghastly is like a 20, 30-ish dollar card, something like that. It's now sitting around 55-ish dollars, up 44% over the past 3 months. I think this is getting fairly close to an all-time high as well, which was back in February, early March, around 60-ish dollars. We are a little bit below there. Obviously, some sales from today are getting 260, but I think it is probably closer to that 55 range. Currently, still massive gains on this card in the past couple months. The Magikarp, I'm sure a lot of you guys pay attention to this, especially if you are invested in Paldea Evolved. It's now back up to basically an all-time high. We're sitting around $275-ish dollars, maybe 270. And after that, I do want to bring your attention to some of the kind of, S tier, A tier special illustration rares from sets that aren't getting very large reprints right now. So anything from Prismatic, Surging Spark, stuff like that is coming down. But a lot of these other sets like Paldean Fates, the cards are starting to go back up. So the Gardevoir EX, this is now around $107, $108, $110. This is an all-time high on this card, continuing to move up. This was around, $60, $70 for a while there. We peaked in February around the 90-ish range. Maybe there was some $100 sales then. Back down to around 70. Now we're rebounding. The Zapdos from 151, you can see here, very rapid spike over the past couple weeks. Now sitting around $80 USD, which is fairly close to an all-time high, or maybe it is an all-time high at this point. I didn't check the Blastoise, but I'm pretty sure that this card is fairly close in price now with the Blastoise from 151. It might even be higher than the Venusaur, correct me if I'm wrong. Also, we have the Greninja from Twilight Masquerade. Now, on the graph, this doesn't look super impressive, sitting around $300. If you do the 1 year chart, it doesn't look like we're close to an all-time high, which was over 400, but the most recent sale on this card, $370 in a near mint from yesterday. Before that, $350. So we obviously aren't back where we were in February, but we're higher than $300. We're now in the mid 300-ish range on the Greninja from Twilight Masquerade. This kind of seems like an outlier currently in the sense that a lot of these special illustration rares that are moving up, They are from sets that aren't getting massive print runs right now. Like I mentioned, Prismatic, Surging Sparks. This one, I mean, we did just get the Twilight Masquerade ETBs. A lot of those are showing up at big box stores and distribution. So this one's kind of fighting against that reprint currently. Now the Mew, we've already talked about this a lot, but I figured I'd throw it in here, around $700. The Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions, by the way, the two most recent near mint sales, I didn't bring it up, but you guys can go look. The two most recent sales, I believe, were like $799 and $796. So actually below $800 currently based on the most recent sale. And then after that, I do just want to talk about a couple Charizard cards. So the 151 is now up to around $270, $275. Massive growth. I mean, this was sub $200 a couple months ago, down here around 180 in early July. If we look at the 1 year chart, this is getting close to an all-time high. I think we did have some sales, probably eclipsed $300 raw back when it was at its peak. Maybe we get back to that point here in a week or two, maybe a month. After that, we have the Charizard EX from Paldean Fates. This is now up to around $265, and I think this is indeed an all-time high on this card. And then just one more here, the Obsidian Flames Charizard, which was like $40, $50, $60 for the longest time, wasn't doing anything. We've now basically doubled overnight. Within a couple weeks, this is around 120 bucks, up 120% approximately over the past 3 months. Look at the year chart. It did have its peak here around $85 back in January, came back down to around 60, and we're now pumping to all-time highs. Now, before we close out this video, I did want to bring your guys' attention to one more thing, which is the ETB PC promos. These are continuing to move. The Charmander, this shouldn't be any surprise. I mean, Obsidian Flames over the past couple weeks, the sealed product has been making a move up, but this is now around $221 raw, an all-time high. Most recent sales actually pushing $240. We had some as high as $300 back in late August. And the most recent PSA 10 copy that sold was $3,300 USD. And you can see here, sometimes you'll get the information on eBay. So the PSA 10 population is about 613 cards, and then the total pop is 5,765 approximately. So it's a very low gem rate, like 11, 12%. Maybe it's a little bit higher, lower. Math is tough for me. So this is very, very expensive. The Snorlax from 151, same sort of deal. It's now back to around all-time highs, $200-ish USD. The most recent PSA 10 that sold, $1,675. So you can see there's a huge premium on the Charmander. And if we look at the gem rate for this, it is definitely a lot higher, 1,400 PSA 10 pop, and then the total pop is around 4,600. So that's closer to what, 33%, a little bit below that. Then we have the Pikachu from Paldea Evolved. This is getting close to all-time highs again as well, sitting around 113 raw. And the most recent sale in a PSA 10, $1,325 directly from the PSA Vault. And then a couple more here. These are newer sets. So we have the Eevee from Prismatic Evolutions, $103. I think this is the fourth most expensive raw Pokemon Center ETB promo, and it's going for about $800, $830 in a PSA 10 currently. It's looking like the gem rate on this card is fairly similar to that of the Snorlax, so I don't think we're going to have a huge premium like we do with the Charmander one, but this is definitely going to be an expensive card. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you guys managed to get some of the Pokemon Center ETBs of Prismatic. They did a very small restock, I think, a couple days ago, so if you managed to, pick up a couple of those through a notification group, that's awesome. And then a couple more here. We have the Mimikyu from Paldean Fates. This is at an all-time high now, around $90. We've seen a huge move on this over the past week, month or so. If I do the one month chart, 150% move over the past month. This was like a $35, $40 card, and then we're now sitting around $90. I wonder if there's, one sale here at $100 raw, and then more in that range, $100, $97.50, $99, $98. Wow, that's just crazy. This card though, however, is pretty cheap actually compared to a lot of these other ones in a PSA 10. This is going for $446 approximately. And I know this is an auction, but you can go look at a lot of the other buy it nows, and even in North America, this sale was from Britain, I believe the UK. They are going in that 450 USD-ish range. And you can see here the pop report, the gem rate's probably closer to like 50%, so I don't think there's going to be a huge premium on this Mimikyu. And then also the last one I wanted to throw in here, the Team Rocket's Wobbuffet, because out the gate, this has definitely been climbing. It was around a $45 card. We're now sitting around $86, and most recent sale today $158 near mint copy, $120, 105. It's actually overtaken this Mimikyu in terms of raw price currently. Maybe that'll change in the future. And then maybe the PSA 10 copy will change in terms of price. The pop report's still very small. It's around 400, but this is going for $750-ish approximately in a PSA 10. But that is going to be it for your midweek Scarlet and Violet update. Everything is just continuing to run. Confidence is at an all-time high in this market. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you are planning to buy stuff on eBay, TCG Player, Hobbiesville, I do have affiliate links down below. They're free and easy to use. All you have to do is click on it before you buy whatever you are already planning to buy. I get a small percentage of that, so it's a free and easy way to support me continuing to make these videos for you guys. If you aren't planning to buy anything, that's totally fine. You can leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. That helps out a ton as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.